Welcome to Todd Wadena Electric Cooperative's monthly newsletter podcast for February 2026. We're here to spark your interest, energize your day, and keep you current with all of the latest information from our cooperative community. So let's plug in and see what's buzzing this month. The 2026 Nominating Committee met on January 21st to select candidates for the 2026 director elections. 3 seats on the Todd Wadena Electric Cooperative Board of Directors will expire at the annual meeting on April 16, 2026. The committee nominated Stephen C. Peterson and incumbents Dale Adams, Christine Spajensky, and Jean Kern. Next month's newsletter, The March Pine to Prairie, will have profiles of each candidate. Profiles will also be mailed out in the ballot packets. Wondering how to vote in the 2026 director elections? In mid-March, ballot packets with voting instructions will be mailed to all members from Survey and Ballot Systems based out of Eden Prairie. Survey and ballots will receive, scan, and tabulate ballots that the members complete and return via mail using the pre-addressed, pre-stamped envelopes provided. Survey and ballots will also tabulate the alternative options that include electronic voting, online through Direct Vote and Smart Hub, and on-site voting at the annual meeting on April 16, 2026. On-site voting will be conducted with an iPad at the annual meeting. Members of the nominating committee will be available to help members navigate on-site voting. And make sure you save the date for Todd Wadena Electric Cooperative's 2026 annual meeting on Thursday, April 16, 2026, at the Maslowski Wellness and Research Center in Wadena. Now, we're here to inform you more about understanding the power system that serves you, from generation to distribution, which is our CEO column feature this month. Reliable electricity doesn't happen by accident. It takes coordination across an entire system, from where power is generated to how it moves across the region to the final delivery to your home or business. I want to take a moment to explain how that system works and, just as importantly, highlight the critical role your local electric cooperative plays in delivering dependable service every day. Electricity moves through 3 interconnected parts: generation, transmission, and distribution. Each one is essential, carrying different responsibilities and costs. All 3 must work together for the lights to turn on. Electricity begins at power plants that generate energy using a mix of resources such as coal, natural gas, wind, hydro, and solar. Todd Wadena Electric Cooperative does not own any power plants. Instead, we purchase electricity from our wholesale power suppliers, Great River Energy, or GRE, and Western Area Power Administration, or WAPA. GRE is a generation and transmission cooperative that supplies power to TWEC and other cooperatives across Minnesota, while WAPA provides cost-based hydropower generated primarily from large federal dams in the upper Midwest. These power sources help balance reliability, resource diversity, and long-term cost stability for our members. Members sometimes ask why TWEC doesn't simply generate its own power. Owning and operating power plants requires significant capital investment, specialized expertise, and long-term exposure to fuel costs and regulatory risk. By working with GRE and WAPA, Todd Wadena shares those risks with other cooperatives, gains access to a broad mix of energy resources, and avoids placing the financial burden of power plant ownership directly on local members. This cooperative approach strengthens reliability while keeping costs more stable over time. Once electricity is generated, it must travel long distances before it reaches local communities. This happens through high-voltage transmission lines, the large structures you often see along highways or across open land. These transmission lines are not owned by a single utility. Instead, they are owned by many different generation and transmission utilities across the region. They are all interconnected to form a large, coordinated grid. Because the transmission system is interconnected, Power can move where it is needed most, helping maintain reliability during peak demands, outages, or extreme weather. Transmission owners work together under regional rules and oversight to keep electricity flowing safely and efficiently. While Todd Wadena Electric Cooperative does not own or operate these high-voltage transmission lines, transmission costs and reliability directly affect the electricity delivered to our system and are included as part of the overall cost of service. The final and most local step is distribution, and this is where Todd Wadena's role is most visible and most impactful. Todd Wadena owns and maintains the distribution system that delivers electricity from our 15 substations to your homes, farms, and businesses. This includes poles, wires, transformers, meters, and service lines. We are responsible for maintaining this infrastructure, responding to outages, planning for growth, and ensuring safe, reliable service every single day. This last mile of electric system is where reliability becomes personal, and it is part of the system TWEC controls directly. Understanding how the entire power supply system works helps explain what TWEC can and cannot control. While we cannot directly control fuel prices, wholesale power costs, regional transmission expenses, or weather-driven demand, we are far from hands-off. Todd Wadena works closely with both GRE and WAPA through ongoing coordination, forecasting, and long-term planning to help manage what we can. Locally, we make thoughtful infrastructure investments and operational decisions that support reliability, responsiveness, and cost stability for our members. And that was the CEO column for the month of February. Understanding power outages at Todd Wadena Electric Cooperative. Power outages can happen for many different reasons. Some are within our control, while others are caused by factors outside the cooperative system. Common causes include planned construction or maintenance work, severe weather, trees and vegetation, animals such as squirrels, birds, or raccoons, automobile accidents or other public-related incidents, equipment failure, and transmission or power supplier outages. At Todd Wadena Electric Cooperative, we work hard to keep outages to a minimum. While we cannot prevent all outages, especially those related to transmission systems, public accidents, or wildlife, we focus on reducing outages where we can. Our vegetation management program helps limit tree-related outages, and we continuously monitor our system to identify areas for improvement and reliability upgrades. In 2025, outages occurred for a variety of reasons. While most were resolved quickly by Todd Wadena crews, some types of outages, particularly transmission-related, tended to affect more members and last longer. Most of these situations allow Todd Wadena crews to respond quickly and restore power in a reasonable amount of time. Weather-related outages were the most common cause, accounting for the largest share of both outages and outage minutes. Every outage, large or small, is taken seriously. TWEC crews are available 24/7 to respond as safely and quickly as possible. We continue to invest in our system maintenance, vegetation management, and coordination with our power suppliers to improve reliability for our members. Now, why are transmission outages different? Transmission outages occur on high-voltage lines owned and operated by other utilities. Because Todd Wadena does not own or control these transmission lines, power cannot be restored until the transmission provider identifies and repairs the problem. Transmission lines are what provide electricity to a substation. Todd Wadena owns and maintains the substations and the distribution lines going to your homes, businesses, and farms. We understand how frustrating these outages can be. That's why Todd Wadena works closely with transmission companies to improve reliability, especially in areas that experience repeated interruptions. In 2025, Transmission outages caused 8 major outages. 4,989 members were affected. The average restoration time was 39 minutes. 45% of all members affected by outages in 2025 experienced a transmission-related interruption. While transmission outages made up a small percentage of total outages, they impacted a larger number of members and accounted for a significant portion of outage minutes. Let's keep things rolling with the MISO Energy Emergency Alert Level 2, or EEA2, keeping the grid stable during extreme conditions. During the last weekend of January, our regional grid operator, MISO, issued an Energy Emergency Alert Level 2, as the electric system across the Midwest experienced extremely high demand combined with tight generation availability. These conditions not only strain the electric grid, but they also drive significant spikes in wholesale electricity prices. During this event, Minnesota locational marginal prices reached as high as $700 per megawatt hour at times, reflecting how limited supply and high demand can quickly increase costs on the regional market. So what does an EEA2 alert mean? An EEA2 is declared when power supplies are becoming tight and additional steps are needed to maintain reliability across the grid. While this does not mean outages are occurring, it signals that the system is under stress and requires coordinated action to prevent disruptions and manage costs. One of the tools used to support grid reliability and help mitigate the impact of extreme market conditions is the use of our load control programs. Full load control was issued over several days. This included calling upon commercial and industrial load control, dual fuel heating systems, and electric water heaters. This event was one of the longest and most sustained load control periods in years, spanning multiple events over a several-day time frame. Load control allows cooperatives across all of Minnesota to temporarily reduce or shift electricity use during critical periods. During energy emergencies, this helps keep the regional grid stable, reduce strain during peak demand, limit exposure to extremely high wholesale power prices. By lowering demand when prices spike, load control helps protect all members from higher, long-term costs while maintaining reliable service. Many members also helped by reducing usage during peak periods, delaying large appliance use, making small thermostat adjustments, and being mindful of overall electricity consumption. These actions combined with load control make a meaningful difference. All right, now let's shift over to why load control feels different this winter. We've had quite a few members reach out recently asking if there's been more load control this year than usual. While the heating season isn't over yet, the number of load control events so far is right in line with the last 2 years. What's different this year is the timing. Because of the polar vortex, we've seen more events packed into a shorter stretch of time, which can make it feel like there's been more control overall. Load control is initiated during peak demand periods, which are influenced by weather conditions and market prices. These decisions aren't made by Todd Wadena alone. They're coordinated across all of Great River Energy Cooperatives and shaped by what's happening throughout the broader MISO region. We appreciate your questions and your participation in load management programs. They help keep energy reliable and affordable for everyone. Up next in this month's news, what are heating and cooling degrees and how can they be useful to you as a Todd Wadena Electric Cooperative member? Degree days are units of measurement used to indicate how warm or cool a location is at any point. The most common use of degree days is for tracking energy use. The temperature of 65 degrees Fahrenheit is used as a baseline for calculating degree days because it is assumed that at 65 degrees, a person can be reasonably comfortable without any additional heating or cooling. The daily temperature for a specific location is compared to the baseline, and the difference is the heating or cooling degree days depending on the season. To calculate a heating degree day, subtract the average temperature for the day from 65. For temperatures below 0 degrees, remember that subtracting a negative number is the same as adding a positive number. So 65 degrees minus negative 5 degrees equals 70 heating degree days. To calculate a cooling degree day, simply subtract 65 from the daily average temperature. Heating and cooling degree days are a local geographic measurement. They are an effective way to generally assess how much energy or demand is required to heat or cool a building in a specific location, as well as understand changes in usage. You can view the chart showing January's data for heating degree days in our February newsletter. Now, here's the next item we want to share. Energy support programs available for income-eligible members. Todd Wadena Electric Cooperative participates in Minnesota's state-mandated income-eligible energy programs to help qualifying households lower energy bills and improve home safety and efficiency. A portion of our conservation and energy optimization efforts is required to be dedicated to income-eligible members, supporting long-term upgrades such as efficient electric appliances, improved heating systems, and other energy-saving measures. By partnering with local community action agencies, we help ensure eligible households can access these resources and stay safely connected. Community action agencies determine eligibility and coordinate directly with Todd Wadena to cover costs for qualifying improvements, which may include electric stoves and ranges, electric storage heat, water heaters, clothes dryers, and certain labor costs for converting gas appliances to electric. Members who may qualify should contact their county's Community Action Agency first. If approved, the Community Action Agency will work with Todd Wadena to move the process forward. This partnership ensures upgrades are completed safely, efficiently, and with long-term affordability in mind. If your household could benefit from appliance replacement or conversion assistance, the first step is to reach out to your local Community Action Agency to learn more about available income-eligible programs. You can support your neighbors through Meals for Members. Donate unexpired, non-perishable food or monetary gifts now through April. Are you needing a little help? You can request a one-time food delivery basket on toddwadena.coop/Meals for Members or by calling Callie at 218-632-3216. Deliveries run mid-January through April. Your energy efficiency tip of the month for February. Midwinter is a good time to check your heating system. Clean or replace filters to maintain efficiency, listen for unusual noises, and watch for uneven heating that may signal a need for service. Keep vents and radiators clear to ensure proper airflow, reduce energy use, and avoid unnecessary repairs while staying comfortable all winter long. Cost of running a propane furnace fan. While propane furnaces use fuel to generate heat, electricity is required to power the blower motor, controls, and ignition system. The blower motor is by far the largest electrical load, and its energy use depends mainly on furnace age and motor type. Older furnaces typically use PSC blower motors, which run at a fixed speed and consume about 500 to 800 watts. If operated 8 hours per day, these motors use 120 to 180 kilowatt hours per month, costing approximately $14 to $21 per month. At 16 hours per day, usage rises to 240 to 385 kilowatt hours, or about $28 to $45 per month. Newer high-efficiency furnaces use ECM blower motors, which run at variable speeds, adjusting airflow based on demand and use far less electricity, typically 80 to 300 watts. At 8 hours per day, monthly usage is about 18 to 72 kilowatt hours, costing roughly $2 to $8 per month. Even at 16 hours per day, ECM motors typically cost only $4 to $17 per month to operate. During cold weather, longer run times increase electric costs, but ECM-equipped furnaces dramatically reduce that impact compared to older systems. Congratulations to Braden Gwasden, just celebrated 5 years of service at Todd Wadena Electric Cooperative, and Jason Orlando with 25 years of service. Here are the highlights from the December board meeting on December 19, 2025. CEO Dan Carlisle shared that the member managers group met in December to continue the conversation on the new rate redesign that is being presented. Great River Energy would like an agreed-upon contract in place mid-2026. Board member Mike Thorson gave the GRE report, providing a high-level overview of the changes that are coming to transmission billings. Policy updates were accepted to Operation Roundup bylaws. Lisa Graba-Meach, CFO, presented the November financials to the board. Monthly kilowatt-hour sales were 6% under budget. Energy revenue was 2% under budget. November's purchase power expense was 2% under budget. TIER is 1.91, and equity is 40.99. Member and Energy Services Manager Allison Fredrickson went over results from the recent member survey, highlighting areas where TWEC is doing well and areas that can be improved. Operations Manager Tyler Fisher touched on the large outage that took place in November when a winter storm hit the territory. There were 34 outages affecting 2,000 members throughout the month, all related to the weather. Board member Dale Adams gave the Star Energy report. TWEC's equity is approximately $762,000. The board approved a motion to reduce the 2026 director's budget by 5%. A motion was approved to utilize a PCA true-up to support 2025 financial needs. TWEC management was authorized to continue operations at the cooperative following 2025 spending levels, pending the approval of the 2026 budget. The wage and benefit package approved in November for 2026 remains. There you have it, folks. That was the highlights from the December board meeting. Thanks for tuning in to this month's Pine to Prairie newsletter from Todd Wadena Electric Cooperative. To explore the full newsletter, complete with graphics, photos, and charts, visit toddwadena.coop. We appreciate you staying informed and engaged with your co-op. Join us next month for more news that keeps our community connected.